Another week, another Sunday. We've got to talk about all the crazy stuff that's happened here on the Sooner or Later Sports Show. Thank y'all for pulling up. You know that guy, Coop. I am Jay. Thanks for pulling up here on the YouTube channel and listening wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to while you're here. Please wipe your feet. Like, subscribe, rate, review. Give us 5 stars. You don't think we deserve it? Go ahead and give us 5 anyway and gift it. So, on today's episode of the Sooner or Later Sports Show, me and Coop got a lot of stuff to dive into, like did the Sooners get some good news this weekend, because we know it was an action-packed, visit-filled weekend. We're also going to talk about the settlement. I got some opinions, and I know Coop does as well. Then, of course, we're going to take your questions, your comments, concerns, anxieties, and all that jazz, and yeah, have ourselves a good time. I know I put this out like hella late. So, Coop, happy Sunday, man. How you feeling?
Feel good, brother. Just did a nice little homegrown stir fry out on the big Blackstone with some pork chops, and I'm ready to thunder up too. It's ready to get going.
Yeah, we definitely gonna thunder up tonight. I've actually been looking at the tickets on Game Time. Shout out to them. I was looking at them trying to find some tickets for the night. Jeez Louise, people are not gonna give up on these tickets. They're not letting up. They letting up on some expensiveness, son. And so yeah, I literally just got back in the country this morning. Enjoyed some time away, clear my brain, get some planning and mapping out ideas around what we want to do on the channel as we prepare for another action-packed season. Coop, we know that visit season is here. Yes, OVs happened this past weekend. People are losing their minds about it. A certain somebody pulled up. A certain group of somebodies have been talking about it. We even got ourselves a future cast.
Yeah.
Like, this is some good stuff, right? And I know, Stevie, you want to blame me for missing out on the game. Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to figure out some tickets for tonight. Because if I get there, the Thunder are plus 154 1 out of 10 games so far. That point differential. We have won every game I blow out. So, Coop, I got to figure out how to get there. I got to go rob somebody in the streets. So,
I think I got a better chance to go on a client call with the Indy 500 folks up in Indianapolis. I got a better chance of going to that game here in a couple days. Still waiting on the thumbs up, but it could happen.
Wait, at the Indy 500 in Indianapolis?
Going up to in Pacers territory, yeah.
Oh, really? When? When are you going to be there?
Later this week.
Oh, interesting. I go there tomorrow, and I'll be there all week. That's the funny part. I legitimately will be there on. I actually fly out. Well, like I just flew back in from vacation, but I fly out for work tomorrow, and I'm going to actually be in Indianapolis. So I'm going to try to find a way to go to the game if I can afford it, because I just looked at the tickets again there. Jeez Louise. They are very proud of them too, which I understand. Most of them are basically selling their tickets so they can pay for their season tickets next year. But let's get off the basketball talk. Let's talk the goods, Coop. I don't know about you, but did you see and hear about people showing up on campus the last few days?
No, I heard anything about it. I was just waiting for the Thunder game.
No rumors? No, nothing, huh? Nothing at all, huh?
Yeah, I gotta say that. Everything starts and ends right now with, what's going on with Bentley, what's going on with Jaden O'Neal, and I talked to his folks a couple times here this week. Jaden O'Neal actually went up with Mustang to scrimmage up in Owasso on Friday night. He sent me some pretty nice videos of Jaden, and he was ripping it. And we always talk about the whole thing with when teams know that they got a quarterback that they can rely on and get hyped about, they'll give 110, 115%.
Yep.
And Jay, you looked at the videos too. It looked like those receivers, whether they were, D1 potential or not, those guys were climbing up high, getting the balls. They were making contested catches. They were crisp on the routes. And so if anything tells you anything about Jaden O'Neal is folks playing with him, they believe in him, and it makes them play harder. And so so that's still, you're still into the a tale of two lovers situation. And so but a lot of the rumors and a lot of the what's going on, around Bo is what everybody's kind of get hyped about. But a lot of people are like forgetting that there's several other folks in there, and there's a lot of guys who there's a lot of whispers of silence, 2 to 3 silence already, and so we just continue to wait, let the kids have their time, and we'll talk about a couple of the visitors here shortly. But they rolled the red carpet out for Bentley. I can assure you that.
Yeah, he's obviously your number one on that, and I thank you for bringing up the Jaden O'Neal camp. It was a Wasso and Mustang camping and playing and getting to watch Jaden rip it. Like you said, I think you made a good point here that when a wide receiver love their quarterback, they're going all out for him.
100%.
And you can tell that if a pass was in the Jaden was putting the ball in the vicinity that the receivers liked it, and they were going after it. They were going up for it. You could see them making separation and all of that. It's crazy. And I was like, oh, well, that's pretty darn impressive. So as I watched through the videos, I'm like, I'll pull some up. I think the people deserve to see it. He looked good. He looked real good. And so, yeah, he looked real good. So we'll play those a little bit later, but let's talk about the man of the hour, the one here. As Bagman is saying, there's a rumor that we're giving a quarterback $4 million. I think that was John Mateer, but his was a 2-year deal. But this guy showed up, Bo Bentley. Him and his people pulled up, make the decision, saying hi. You see him with Mateer. Now, I remember reading an article that they talk often. And the pipeline of Oklahoma and quarterbacks that loved the quarterbacks that played at Oklahoma, like a Sam Bradford, a Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts. They all, point to that, right? Dylan Gabriel, Nate Dibble, Jason White. I don't even think most of them was even born for Jason White, but they were for Sammy Boy. Sammy Boy, they were really young in the Sammy Boy era. Because Sam was 08, 9. Yeah, they were young.
Yeah.
Because, we're about, 18 years ago would be 07-ish.
Yeah.
So, most of them would be that, latter. But more so Baker, Kyler, Jalen.
Recent guys.
Exactly. Caleb when he was here, right? Rattler, they had a love for watching Oklahoma. They loved watching Dylan Gabriel ball out.
Yeah.
So, of course, he came through to treat him like he's a king. Got him in there in the big chair, in the fancy chair. Yeah. But I think this right here is going to be what may change the game for the Sooners. Coop, how confident do you feel in Bo Bentley being a Sooner in the near future?
So, I gave my opinion, on Friday, yesterday, today, about the same thing. Is I think that OU did everything to put themselves up in front. I don't think we're going to hear anything today or tomorrow from Bo Bentley. What I expect happens is he has given the coaches, hey, listen, I think it's it. This is where I would like to be. I'm going to go back home. His family is a huge part of his life, and they're going to go back home and talk it over, make sure everybody's on the same foot, and then we'll probably I'd expect towards the middle end of the week him putting out a June 20th type of a commitment day. Maybe about that's 12 days from now, so that gives him a couple days to to get it together. And most people don't do the commitments on Saturday or Sunday unless it's holiday weekend. But I'm right now, I'm 60-40 in favor of OU. There were a lot of talks of he committed. There were a lot of talks of, hey, he gave it silent. I don't think that's what OU was pushing for him. I think they wanted to roll out everything for him and wanted him to go back home and be confident in what he was thinking.
I did get a couple of texts on the belief that he did silent, but I'm gonna say that I'm about 55-45. I think Bo took it all in. I think Bo enjoyed himself. I think Bo really tried to figure out, what's next for him in that capacity. But I don't know if Bo came out and just said, "Yep, I'm done. I'm shutting it down. I'm in." Yet. I don't believe it personally, and that's just me. I do think, though, that Oklahoma impressed him. I do think that having Mateer, Coach Kuzieski, along with Arbuckle, all really probably talk about the pipeline and just talk through how they did things with John and how they expect to do things going forward. That makes me feel like there's probably some confidence that Bo's probably going to commit just because, they walked him through. This is how he got for John. John's in he's year 3 in the system. This is how he got to where he was able to put up 3,100 yards and 800 rushing yards, right? This is how we got to 44 touchdowns. And this is what our plan is for you too.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with anybody who's thinking is him. I'm not saying it is. I ain't saying it ain't. I'm not counting out a 2 QB haul at all. Because I do think Oklahoma's very legitimately interested in doing that. So we'll see.
I got something to say, but I got my opinion on that. Right now, Jaden's going to be here next weekend.
Yep.
He's going to be on campus next weekend, and here it is. The question is, can you afford two highly rated quarterbacks? If the donors get to it, that we can afford it. Like, they're going to be able to do it. It's up to the people donating, and we'll talk about the other part later. I think that Arbuckle being in early on Bo is a big deal. He wanted to go out and get a second quarterback, and I think that even though the rating system's not being super friendly to Jaden O'Neal right now, I see a lot of things. His, I see Cardale Jones from Ohio State a few years back for him, but a little bit more mobile than Cardale. He's a tall guy. He's got a rocket. He's got some great placement, and so I think that it still is on the table. If it becomes a deal where Bentley commits, that decision's now all in the O'Neal camp, and we'll know about it pretty. If anybody needs to know, O'Neal camp talks to us pretty frequently, SPG and Jason Watkins. And he keeps it 100 with us. I mean, he does. And when he's pissed off at the coaching staff, he lets us know, and he lets us know everything. But he said it's not done yet. He's like, we still would like to be at OU. Like, they moved here. Again, that's going to help him out regardless. But I think the thing that with Mateer is him and with Bentley is him and Mateer are like brothers. Like, that's why he was in for every single portion of that visit and just getting into his ear. So, this is the game that we continue to cover, and I would love to be able to tell everybody, hey guys, wink wink, Bentley's
nudge, hunt.
Yeah, there's no wink wink on him. There is on some other guys, but not on Bo Bentley. Again, I think it's go home, think it over, talk it over, and then set a commitment date, and probably in the next 7 to 10 days.
That's true. All right, what y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Y'all think Bentley's in? Y'all think it's a done deal? We want y'all to talk. Fire off how y'all feel inside of the chat. We had a lot of other ones. Like, Bo Bentley wasn't the only one. He's a headliner, mainly because, he's, a quarterback, and that's usually where most attention is waiting to see a quarterback pull up. But we also saw some big boys come through. Now, this one big boy, Coop, I won't. And when I see him, say I like you and I want you. I need you in this class. Hopefully I get that reference, get a laugh out of y'all. This boy right here. You know who that is, right, Coop? Tell people who that is.
That is Ben Powers.
Shoot, he looks like him at his size already. No, but Deacon Schmidt pulled up.
Schmidt. Yeah. And
good God.
Hey,
he's a mammoth of a human being. And of course, John Mateer out here doing the recruiting thing.
If you watch the interview that I did with Deacon, I mean, the dude is he puts in work every single dadgum day. And
look how big he is.
And he is a great guy. Windsor, Colorado. You know, he was in a little bit on Colorado State, schools around there, Colorado, Alabama, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Nebraska. Those are his schools right now. And so hold on, I'll tell you. His host on the visit, I believe, was Ozida and Logan Howland. So two guys that have, they had to wait their turn a little bit. They got a chance to show it last year. Two guys that expect to be in the mix this year as soon as they're healthy. And here's the thing is, if I did a future cast, I'd have it on Deacon. I'd have it for OU on Deacon. He goes to Nebraska next week and Tennessee the following week.
Okay.
I believe he is a mid-June or mid-July. He's going to set his commitment date for mid-July. I told Sooner Cowboys in there he wants Bentley for his birthday coming up here at the end of June, and this is who I want for my birthday because this is a big dude, and he's going to be he's going to be a factor. And like I said, he is a hardworking guy, and he spends every single day. It's like 5 a.m. in the gym, not mandated by his coaching staff. It's just him wanting to get better.
Yeah, and he looks like it. He is. Yeah, he's a big boy. Jeez Louise. And he looks like something Beaton Bow would just mold into a monster. The great opportunity for that. And like you said, he's known for working his butt off. Coming out of Colorado, definitely one that you want to snatch from the Buffs. I'm totally here for it. Kid can play. Kid can play. He's just big. Yeah. I mean, look at him standing next to Mateer. Like, that's not a picture of him standing next to BV. I was like, good Lord, this kid's kind of huge. So Oklahoma's been in the trenches, literally.
He talks ball too. I promise you that. He will sit down with Beatonbow and he will just sit down and have a conversation about technique. This is his thing. And Bagman, I would like a Thunder championship too. Hopefully they get this thing wrapped up before my birthday though.
Boo. My Pacers in 5. Thunder in 5. I got to go hate on our boy JP. His Indy can't do anything here. He's going to have to just understand that it's all about Oklahoma and these streets. But no, yeah. He would be really solid with Will Conroy. I mean, I don't see a path for Felix Ojo. But with the way that he's tweeting at our boy Foger, I'm not going to say 100% out, but I'm about 90% out because I just think that he's too high profile. And even though once Simmons is gone, there's an opportunity to push for another tackle spot. Don't see it happen. I think one of our young players end up taking it, but I do like Deacon as an option here. Like this picture of him and BV. Like he's a giant kid, just overall.
Those two Barbies next to him. I don't know, are those life size people next to him? I don't even know.
Yes, I don't even know if they're real. I'm not even gonna believe if they're real or not. All I know is this is a big boy. So Sooners are pushing for him. They got a few other, of course.
To note, he's also really close because with Brett Kolajay, who's down at IMG.
Yep.
Kolajay doesn't. I think there's still a chance over there for him. He still has conversation with him, but I mean, it's a guy that he's known from the circles. So I mean, just keep that in mind. Like, I promise you, if he makes the call, he's going to be hitting up Kolajay saying, "Come on, man, you gotta come back this way."
Yep. And I know that they're both, because him and Kolajay are both from Colorado, from like home state of Colorado. So I know both of them they're being talked up like crazy, train together, trying to find a way to get him to a buff, but I don't think I just don't see it with Ojo. But y'all can tell me what y'all think on that one. Hop in those comments. Here's another one that intrigued me. I got two more that really jumped out that made your boys say, "Huh, it's pretty interesting visits." Here's one. Tyler Ruxer. Yeah, I know. The coach has recruited him. Yeah, I got things to say, but I think it's going to be a situation where this may end up being some good news for Oklahoma. That kid's pretty huge. I don't know if y'all know this, but Joe John Finley's a giant human being.
6'5", I think, 6'6".
Yeah, he's legitimate in his height. I think Tyler's close to that.
6'4", 220 right now.
He's listed 6'4", 220. I mean, looking at his height, he's a 4-star on 3 on the others. Top player in Indiana. He's top 200 on 3. They got him 164th, so they're pretty early on him. He's tall.
Big guy.
And he looks it. So can't pretend like he's not a giant kid. I mean, look at him in the throne. He's almost at the top of it already. So of course you had the big family picture that came through on that. But the kid is, huh?
It looks like a high chair with him sitting in it.
Right. But no, he's a giant kid. Nice opportunity with him, and it sounds like he's really, really digging what Oklahoma's offering. So I guess the question is, Coop, I mean, who we giving the credit to on this?
Jim Nagy.
I'm not going to be rude. I think Joe John Finley's doing a pretty good job with this one, too. I think that, the conversations are there. And Arbuckle, of course, is laying out an entire plan to actually leverage his tight ends like crazy. So I think this season, with Oklahoma using the tight ends more, there's a good chance you'll see more athletic dudes like that show up. We need it. Yeah. We really do. Even though I don't know how much Arbuckle really uses the tight end. Is it really something for us to be? Do we need to push for that? But I do want to have some competent tight end play because it takes a lot of pressure off the wide receivers. That's just my thought.
And you got to think about it. Like when Lincoln Riley came here, we had Mark Andrews and we had stellar running backs. And Lincoln Riley never used the tight end, didn't use the running backs a lot, because he never had the caliber of athletes that he had when he had Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon and Mark Andrews. Let's just say that they all three are still in the league, and two of them have been to Pro Bowls. And so I do think that when you got guys like Ruxer, that makes you change your playbook, because even if it's not a lot, you got to show it on film, because it's like. It's like back in the day when we had point guard traded to Chicago for Caruso.
Are you talking about Giddey?
Giddey. We have Giddey. When he was on the court, he would go stand out there on the baseline, and people just like, "You're good over there, man. I'm good." Just at least as long as you don't even crash the boards, you stay out there. So you got to use the tight end. You got to have something out there, and you got to, as a tight end, you got to make it that when you get those opportunities, you got to show your coach that, like, you need to be throwing me the ball more. So I do think that, I would say that I feel really, really nice against, for Ruxer. I feel really good about him being here.
That's a good point. All you need is someone that does just enough, and you'll see a breakout here at tight end. Which, like I said, I think that Arbuckle, his mission with Mateer is not only getting these wide receivers going, but also to get the tight end spot looking a lot better and more presentable going forward. Let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Another one that pulled up that jumped out to your boy. Now, Coop. This is a nice one. We'll talk about the CB in just a minute. Sugoi English popped out. There was a future cash dropped for Noah Best, and it was from an opposing team, an insider for an opposing team, which is good. And we'll talk about that. The future cast was Missouri.
Missouri, that's right. I knew it was somebody I didn't care about.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that in just a minute. We'll go into detail on that and why that is of importance. But this was another one, though. This visitor here, going to his IG. If I can get this to not jump all over the place like this on me. There we go. We got Mr. Davian Grossi. As you can see him there with Emmett Jones. He had a little video going. Yeah, this is one athlete I want. He's a top 50 player in the country. Cool. 48th consensus composite. Everybody's got him top 100. Everybody's got a minimum top 80. 247 having the lowest at 79. But he's one of the top players in the state of Texas, period. 6'1", 190 athlete. And the rumor about him and his people is they're Oklahoma people. Right? Like, they're OU people. His family in Oklahoma, if I believe. And they are, like I said, diehard, would love to see him in the Crimson. And I think the kid has a chance of being something. That's a dude Emmett Jones needs to continue to put the stamp on his career here.
You know, if they both had OU gear on, I would hope that the guy standing was the recruit. Because Emmett's just jacked. Emmett is just jacked. But
Emmett is on the juice, man. That's a big man. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. You know, Frisco, Texas. You know, Dad is an athlete. I think a lot of people are kind of different plans for him and everything. And again, this is one that it was just a matter of time for things to start ramping up. And I'm pretty hopeful for this cat because he's explosive. He is, you know, he's a thicker wide receiver. He is, you know, what is he, 6'2", right? Yeah, so 6'2" in most places, you know, 6'1" and almost 6'2" on others. But a guy's very, very explosive. This is a guy who will probably relish in blocking. You know, he's a primetime guy that he wants the ball all the time. And that's what you want to receivers. You don't want the receivers walking out there and just be like, hey, I don't feel like it this time, or, hey, you know, I hope I get the ball. Like, he's like, T.O., throw me the damn ball. And so, you know, him, I think Dallas Dickerson, Petit, those guys were all in. They were all hanging out together. And, man, any combination or all of them, I mean, sign me up.
I would take, any combo. He be nasty in the open field. Like his skill set reminds me of Elijah Thomas. If we're going with the most recent one.
Yeah.
That's what I see in his game, and I like what I see when he plays. So,
and you know, even though these guys, again, it's hard to kind of like, you know, look back for some of these kids for, you know, Ryan Broyles, but you know, Gross, I can't remember who put it out there, but and they were talking about D.D. Westbrook and Ryan Broyles out there, and Mark Clayton coming in. And to most of these kids, that, you know, Broyles and Clayton, that's not, they don't, you know, they can look it up and go, oh, apparently dude was good. But like, growing up an OU fan, he knows. They know him. And so I am very, very excited about, you know, Grossi. So, I mean, there's a lot of these guys, and guess what? There's going to be a lot of 3-star U BS. But last time we got 3 5-star wide receivers. Did they go to the Pro Bowl, or were they all Americans or anything like that? I don't think so.
Sometimes it didn't work out that way.
I would rather go if Nagy wants him, bring it on. Like
Yep.
I want this guy because he is going after and encouraging the coaches to go after NFL caliber, NFL measurables, and enough with the projects. You want to go after, if you want to go after a project, find somebody that we can give a PWO to.
And that's what's critical, is you want to go after those folks that have the NFL traits. And that's the one thing I think a lot of people need to understand at the way that they're doing it right now, why things have slowed down, why things are not as fast as you've seen other places, is that Nagy came in and he's doing a full reevaluation of everything we're going after. You got to look at this at an NFL model type now. We need to get NFL guys with NFL traits, and then we can start focusing on how we're going to divvy up all this pie. Because still got a pie, you got to divvy up. And like my guy, Truth said, the toughest thing about having multiple quarterbacks is, especially top tier ones, is paying a bunch of quarterbacks can get expensive. We've seen Oklahoma pull up some pretty good players. We've seen them pull 5 stars. I mean, shoot, we got Susi and Fogier, who was right there on the edge. We've done it. It's just we're very selective about who we go that far into. But I'll tell you this. Don't be surprised if this class is a heck of a lot better than y'all expect. Let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. Want to hear your thoughts. There were a few others that pulled up that I thought was interesting.
Noah Best. So that we got Noah Best has got the crystal ball in. A guy that's been right there for quite a long time. And Odom. We didn't talk about Odom. Odom.
That's who I actually want to talk about. I want to start going to the defensive guys, and you brought the name up perfectly. Danny Odom. Coop, how you feel about that kid?
I don't usually play with crystal balls, but again, I think that you should see something coming in here pretty soon. Again, lots of silence. Talk about silent commitments this weekend. I would venture to say by Friday next week, you're going to see the crystal balls coming in for most of these guys, and I mean, it might force us to do a midweek show out of season, Jay, just because of all the stuff coming through. But
yeah, we're at that point.
I might be, I might have to. We might both be out there, and then
just find a way to do it live from the hotel room.
Yeah.
No, seriously, because you're right. We're at the point of the year now where you're going to start seeing a bunch of, you're going to start seeing all the commitments come out of nowhere. Because who was Danny committed to before? Trying to remember, who was he committed to?
Was it North Carolina?
I think so. I'm looking now. I'm trying to remember who was his original commitment to. Let me see. I'm on 247 site. He's listed as 6'2".
It was North Carolina.
All right, so North Carolina. He was going to be a Tar Heel, decommitted, starting from scratch.
I beat you, Topher. I beat you.
Yep, Topher, you lost that one. I'm sorry, man. I don't know how you let Coop beat you, but I'm not going to talk bad about you. Exactly. When you let this man get you like that, that's just funny. Let me see. Did he put anything on the IG? I don't think Danny put anything on his IG, which is shocking. Or is he holding it back in preparation for a commitment? No? Yes?
There's a lot of these guys. I think when OU's been in such a the news coming in and staying in the stream, like staying in the stream right now with the visits, everybody's focused on that. Everybody's focused in on, and Thunder around here. And so I think a lot of these guys said, hey, I'm going to be calling you later in the week to give you my answer.
Yeah.
which usually is a good thing because you call like the day before you're committing to tell them it's not you. And so there's been a lot of that. Braxton Lindsay is another guy that I want to bring up too. But Odom again, an NFL type of body, and that's what Nagy has gone after. 6'1", hit a little on the light side, 6'1", but
It's okay. He's a corner.
There's a guy named Jared Schmidt that can help out with that. So I think that. Again, more defense, and but we're starting to see the offense kind of come around too, and that's the thing is you're going to have, extremely young side of the ball on offense this year, and the defense is still young too, and so if this team shows out this year, it's not really going to slide for the next 2 or 3 years.
Nope.
It's going to keep up there, and
we're on an upward trajectory on that. So yeah,
and that's good because. Then instead of going the portal looking for 11 dudes, you need to supplement. Maybe 2 or 3 guys in the portal. If you lose somebody to an injury or somebody like our Crimson Missile.
I know it hurts. I know it hurts.
Headed back home, and I don't blame him because he had had family situations, and so he went back home. And it's not like he took back from Miami. So those are going to happen, and when that happens, you're going to need to go to the portal every once in a while. But this team, they want it to be 80% recruiting and 85% recruiting. There you go.
Yeah. No, you're good.
That looks like Hollywood right there.
It really does. It really does. But no, these are the type of corners you're going to go after and you want because they're the ones that are built for. SEC ball, like you said, he's roughly, depending on what site you go on, he lists himself at 6'2", 190. So that's a lot thicker than, we even anticipate. I think some of the measurables had him at 6'1". I've seen some 6 foot, but he has himself listed at 6'2". We'll see when he comes in, but he is the size of corner you want. Reminds me of Tristan Haynes, right? That was one that we both were very excited about. Georgia was after him hardcore. And he's got the size at corner, but he's also got the moves to where he may not be the thickest kid he doesn't need to put on some weight, but he will. But he's still a threat because he's going to get out there. He's going to break up passes. He's going to be able to fight with the wide receiver and be disruptive on a route. This is what you're looking for in a player like Danny Odom. Danny looks good. I am sold on him as someone to come through. So, yeah, we'll see. What y'all think?
Let us know in the comments. Obviously, there's a ton of good news coming, and I think it's by design. The staff says, hey, if you feel that way, go home, pray about it, think it over, and, let me know. And so, that's if the staff feels okay and not push all right, let's go ahead and do it now. Again, the staff's, been rumored to have, scheduled out commitments to keep kind of the good news coming day after day after day. And then all the hype's going. The national publications are talking about Oklahoma being on fire. So it's going to, we're going to see a lot of momentum. And, originally I said, I don't expect to be a big class, 15, 16 maybe. And now I'm not quite sure, Jay. Now I feel like, 18, 19 is probably possible, maybe even 20.
Yeah. Feels like it could be another big one. Now, this is one that I would like to happen. This kid, Jaden Pettit. Jaden's what? Height-wise, 6 what?
6'4".
Yep, 6'4", 6'5". Like legitimate too.
Yeah, 220 something I think is what I saw. I know that one of the sites has him at like 200, but he ain't 200 because you can tell just with the neck. He isn't having trouble putting on weight. Now he might not be 250 yet, but
he looks
you
the
need
kid.
the athletic tight ends. And you look at you look at what you got there. I mean, Florida, Wisconsin, Miami, those guys are all always in on the good tight ends. Now, if it's down to us in Miami, BV going to do BV things and shove Cristobal back into the locker like he's done several times.
Yeah, we need that. We need that in our lives. We all are excited about the ideal of it, but no, he's a big kid. He's tall. I think CD was a 4-star coming out of high school.
4-star. Yeah, and
he was a top 100 player, easy.
I want to see, because if my memory serves me well, we had somebody else with him.
Let me go check his class real quick. I'm gonna pull him up. CD Lamb.
What year was he? Was he?
CD was 2017.
2017.
Let me go to his high school. Yep, class 2017. Everybody predicted him to Texas. He's a top 200 player, 4-star, 148th in the country. Consensus composite 246th in the country. So he was a top 300 player.
Yeah, Hollywood came out the same exact year.
I think he was a part of that class. Yeah, I think they were in the same class together.
Trey Sermon, Charleston Rambo. I think a lot of us were more excited about Charleston
Rambo because of how big he is. Yeah.
Yeah, Calcaterra. That was Chris Robinson.
Now think about it. Rambo and CD were the exact same height. Think about it. They both were 6'2". Calcaterra coming in at the 6'4" wide receiver that converted over to tight end. You're like, okay, well, Hollywood. That was a really good wide receiver class.
Yeah. That was the number 8 class in the nation. And I'm just going to say, this is why you go, all right, don't pay attention to all this stuff, because you had Trey Norwood in the NFL. Didn't get drafted, but balled out, and he's had some injury issues. But
Brown.
You had Kenneth Murray. Feel like he was a pretty good linebacker.
Yeah.
You had Jeremiah Hall, Creed Humphrey, Isaiah Thomas, Kennedy Brooks, Marquise Hayes.
Hey, to add to that, Kenneth Murray was a 3-star.
Yeah. So again, this is why you go, all right, let us know, Nagy, because
give me NFL trait, guys. Give me a first-round pick that's a former 3-star. I'll take it.
Yeah. And Creed. I think Creed was a 3-star too, wasn't he?
Creed was a 4. Yep, he was a 4-star, 144th in the country.
So I was wrong, but yeah, you have in that class alone, you have. I won't talk about those 2 safeties that we got in that year. That was Broyles and Barnes. You had Tyrese Robinson still in the league. CeeDee Lamb, All-Pro. Hollywood Brown, he's doing his thing. Trey Brown in the league. Trey Sermon. Rambo, I don't know where he's at. Calcaterra is the utility tight end over there at the Eagles.
Yep. But you weren't wrong, though, Coop, because with ESPN and Rivals, he was a 3-star.
Yeah. I remember the 3-star because I remember somebody asking him a question in spring practice his first year, and he said, "I'm going to show them 3-star." Yep.
Yeah, he was a 3-star on Rivals back when he was in high school, which is very interesting to me that, yeah, number 11 in the state of Oklahoma too. Point behind all of this conversation, folks, this is the thing that we have preached to every single one of you on a consistent basis, is that you look for the NFL traits. Now, 5 stars, high 4 stars, and 4 stars, they're usually the ones that do land in good land, usually higher. But there's no guarantees. You got to see what the work ethic looks like. You got to see what the grind is. You got to see if they want it enough, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, in that class, the top player in that class was Robert Barnes.
Robert Barnes. And I am pretty sure that Broyles and Barnes, who were the 2 highest, were they the 2 highest?
In that class, it was Broyles and Barnes. Yep.
Yeah. And
Robert Barnes played at Colorado after he left Oklahoma.
Yeah, when they were both, done, everybody, all this fan base said, "Get him out of here." I still, when I think of Justin Jefferson and when I think of out in Cincinnati, I just picture them running with the Broyles back of his jersey, chasing him. So, but it's. Development is going to be a big part of this, and I think that you get a bunch of guys who feel like they've been underrated, like Michael Boganowski. You talk to you talk to Big Mike. I mean, that's the one thing he said. He didn't get whiny. He didn't get mouthy. He said, "All right, I'm going to show him."
Yep.
And Michael Moganowski looked like a 3-star to anybody here.
Not a single one of them.
Yeah.
Not a single one of us thought that. But yeah, that's the thing. It's that they're not always rated where you think they should be. So for a lot of us, the main thing that we try to do to keep the main thing is we're looking for those traits, and that's exactly what the staff is looking for. And yeah, Les, you're right. Some kids do mature faster and hit their max in high school. Some kids take longer to develop. And that's true. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just got to make sure you get them at that right spot to where they can break out. And that's honestly, to me, that feels kind of like the Saban effect of back in the day. Even BV in his Clemson years of, that's how you can stack dudes, let them mature behind. Because truth be told, you really only need, and I've talked to somebody else about this, and they former NFL guy said this to me. He's like, you really only need one good year of tape. That's really it. You drafted. So you don't have to play as a freshman. You don't have to play as a sophomore. Because in a lot of situations, if you do play like as a true freshman and you ball out like crazy, and it's like, okay, like Trevor Lawrence was a great example. I've heard a few national talking heads say this, in which I 100% agreed with them with it was,
Me too.
After his freshman year, he was the number one pick in every year. So if he could have foregone his sophomore and junior year of college, he was the number one draft pick, period. Point blank. No question. Same thing with Adrian Peterson. But then you still got to play, unfortunately, because the NFL rules are they want you 3 years out because of physical development. But some players, very few, I'm not saying all, I'm saying few, but there are some that, would be able to do it at the NFL level at a freshman year. Like I said, it's few, but they exist. And like some of them would have benefited from being able to just jump out. So having freshman tape, sophomore tape, junior tape, all that's awesome. It's not a requirement. 1 year good tape, dude. I mean, we watched that with Kyler. 1 year good tape. I mean, he won the Heisman, but 1 year tape, dude gets drafted number one. That's all you really need. Some players need more. Not everybody needs as many. So, any other visitors you want to talk about? Anybody else that jumped out to you want to talk through?
Braxton Lindsey. Let's hit up Braxton Lindsey.
Oh, yeah. I did see Braxton pulled up. Talk to me. He's from Arkansas, correct?
Yeah. So if we can pull, let's and then Matthew Shelton. Let's stop with those two guys. Two Arkies came up. We got one in the fold already. You had O'Marion Robinson and Wimberley last year, and so another dude who just is he's a guy that a lot of people are Rogers, Arkansas, 6'3", 234. That is a SEC linebacker size. We're used to getting guys at like 6'3", 205, and then we got to get them to 220. I think only Kobe McKenzie would be heavier than him at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is got Arkansas next week, June 20th, BYU. There's not very many people who are hiding any of the excitement around this kid. If between him and you pull in Shelton, that is 5 guys from Arkansas in the past 2 years, and I know 5 of the best guys that Arkansas is not closing down on.
Nah, that's wild. That's a wild thing to think.
Yeah.
5 out of the state of Arkansas. Like we pillaging from around us. And, of course, our guy JP, a.k.a. Indy Sooner, has been on him because he's family. While at the same time, he's been telling everybody, hey, this kid's going to be something. And I'm now seeing that, as big as he is, sign me up. I'll take 2. 6'3", 235 already? That's a big boy. You need more players of that size and caliber, dog. Like you said, SEC bodies, you need more dudes like that big. What do I need to do to get that? How do I sign up for that? Huh?
Bring it. I mean, that you can tell right there. He is a big dude, and it's equally distributed. He's got a great base, and so yeah, if you get this guy at Rogers, Arkansas, good place to go get a dude. He's probably been around. I mean, you got Dad with the hat on. He doesn't look. It doesn't look like he is a skinny dude, but this reminds me of some of the Alabama linebackers. Guys that were just absolute thumpers, and so I'm not super caught up on the speed and the quickness, but I feel like
I got a lot of film to watch.
If it is measurables that Nagy is giving folks the green light on, you got to think that he's definitely fast enough to play in the league.
Yeah, at this size, godly, makes BV look a little small, and BV's not a small dude.
And there's a lot of dudes that have been here this week and in previous weeks that they just love sitting down and talking ball with Brent Venables. Like they consume it, just day and night. And if you want to talk ball with BV or BB, those guys are going to sit down, and that's how they fall in love with you, is just sitting there and just jamming.
Yeah. Jamming. Coop, looks like we're making some progress. Now the question is, when are these commitments going to come? Did Oklahoma get some good news this weekend? I'm going to tell y'all they most likely did. Actually, correction, I know they did. I know that they've gotten some words from some people that something's going to happen. And now we're just waiting for the actual announcement. And you're right, Coop. It feels like they're putting a lot of that stuff together to plan it down the line.
Yeah, we Cobra, we didn't get to Golden. I feel good about that one too, but I can hear the screaming from Oklahoma City because we are about 5 minutes out. So, do you want?
Yeah. The game's about to happen. I do want to talk about this settlement that came down. If y'all want to stick around for a bit, I know the game usually doesn't tip off. The game time is 7, but they don't ever tip off on time. It's usually about 12 minutes in. So I think we've got a few more minutes to chop it up for a bit on that. I do want to talk settlement. Elijah Golden, I guess he did pull up. I haven't seen any posts from him, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Right? Like I'm not going to argue and say that he didn't. But I don't see anything about him. And you know me, if it ain't public, I'm usually pretty quiet about it. But if he showed up, don't matter. Selman came through. You know what? We'll table it. Because there's going to be a lot more stuff coming down over the next couple of days that we've got to figure out. All we know is that the courts approved it. We've got a clearinghouse that's supposed to be, NIL is supposed to go through. And I promise you, as they try to deny stuff, the lawsuits are going to happen. So I don't think any of this is finalized. This is step 1 to help normalize things. And I think we're good. So, but yeah, a lot of good visitors this weekend. You had a lot of big defensive linemen I saw pulled up. So, yeah. We got to dive more into it.
We'll probably talk about a couple of more of the guys. We've been going for almost an hour now, and so we'll probably either saddle up Wednesday because I think there's going to be a lot of stuff. But if you guys hit up the comments, let us know who you want to hear about. T-Rod, feel really good about that. Want to talk about Johnson and Golden, and I figure that we'll probably hear some rumblings and see a lot more crystal balls when Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday start coming around. So these guys are now getting in the car, heading home.
Yep.
Getting on a plane, heading home.
But I do expect some news over, like I said, the next week. So Keep your eyes open. We'll talk about T-Ron. We'll talk about... Actually, me and Coop will just put together a video separate and talk about some of the other players that came through. We'll drop it in here in the next few days. So keep your eyes open for that. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5. We did run a lot longer than I expected, but the game's about to come on, and I do not want to take away from you all doing that. So keep your eyes open on... I'm going to keep it in a buck. I expect I expect a commitment over the next week. I don't know who, but I expect a commitment over the next week. We'll cover all of it like we always do. We appreciate y'all. And we'll chop it up soon. Peace.